Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Emor. This is
Quinn at Emor.
this is
David.
I don't even know what that. But this weekend only is PAX Pro. Nope. Actually, it'd be 2 weeks, so there would be 2 episodes. You know, this is weird because episode 9 is going to be posted really weird. It's
fine.
like
Fine.
this week and then next week. So next week, September 1st through the 4th, we are going to be, well, I am, and Ashton and Jameson are going to be at PAX Prime or PAX West,
So
as they
look
say.
out for them.
Yeah, we will be there. So if you see us, make sure you say hi. We might do a little video with you guys because we're going to definitely post a highlight video at the end of the PAX trip that kind of just sums up what PAX was, as well as like a few pictures and odds and ends. So like a memento memory video that happens.
Don't get excited. We don't have a booth yet.
No.
But they'll be there in person.
Exactly. And maybe someday.
Maybe
someday we'll have a media pass. We're not doing E3 because media passes don't mean dick there.
Not anymore. Not like the old days.
Not like back in my day.
Yeah, your
When
day was a
E3
long time ago.
Thanks.
Yeah, way to make him feel old.
Back in my day when you guys were just youngins,
Yeah.
I was playing Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo.
Mario Kart. I'm in the disaster
I
zone.
always feel like my posture is weird with the mic, like right the way I
You can put it between your legs.
You
It's uncomfortable.
You gotta cradle it like this. You gotta be like, hey.
Yeah.
You gotta be very intimate with it. You gotta
I feel like I have to be. Yeah.
Caress it.
Yeah. It's gonna be all right.
Like how we
That was good.
roll the intro. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Bitcade. This is Bitcade episode 9. 9 episodes have begun as of right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Emor, but joining me right here is Quinn.
I'm Quinn.
Oh, you're Quinn today. Okay, all
I'm
right.
feeling like the Quinn attitude. Right
Okay,
now.
all right.
Okay.
And over on the far end
Yeah,
is David.
You got David. I'm
David.
over here. David, yeah. People start calling me that at work now, and
Really?
yeah.
Is
and
it
don't
because I
mind.
started calling it to you more frequently, or is it more of like...
No, I don't know who started it, but just everybody has been been doing it lately,
was
and
Ryan.
it always takes me back to 2nd grade because my 2nd grade teacher would always call me David, and it drove
Why?
it drove me nuts. I
Why?
don't know. I was like the only kid in the
David.
class that she would say my name in some sort of like Spanish way.
With
with a hard I,
When I think
you know,
of David, I think of like the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like somewhere there.
I had a friend in kindergarten named Navid.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Where did he end up? You don't know anymore, do you?
Well, he moved after kindergarten, and then
Oh.
he came back one time for 4th grade. And then I was like, "Yo, Navid, what's up, my bro?" And then exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hi."
Glad we went down this story. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the official video game podcast of Primal Target. Today, we are talking about the ESRB/PEGI. We're talking about, like, I don't know, how would you
I don't
classify
know.
yours? Like Mad Lib's video games. We'll get into
Mad
that.
Lib,
And also,
Mad Lib build a game.
exactly,
Like
and
Build-A-Bear.
video game prices. Those are our topics of today. But first, we are going to talk about the ESRB/PEGI. So I guess I'm leading that one. Yeah,
you
you're doing the
want.
Sure.
game
That's
price
fine,
one.
that's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
That's
So
fine.
the ESRB and the PEGI, and why? So in this topic, I was more of wondering, because we all have worked retail at some point in time.
I sell video games.
Exactly.
Like for a living.
I've done that as
Yeah.
well. I don't know if you've sold at the
You
front
know,
end.
when I'm out on the streets, I'm not gonna say exactly what
And
my
you're-
job
and
is.
You're pushing
I'm
those
like-
games.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, "Hey, You want a game?
You actually have like a trench coat and you're like
Yeah.
this every time. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about because I was having this conversation with my dad the other day, and I just realized I didn't have a stopwatch going. It's fine. I was having this conversation with my dad about, he wasn't like fighting me on it, but I was just more of talking to him about like why people can criticize games like GTA and Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat, which we'll get into, of why, oh well, why are games shouldn't be, kids shouldn't be playing games like this, and it's like, yeah, there's a
They're rated
system
like that, yeah.
like that to, if only there was a system to prevent that sort of thing from happening.
It's
And-
like in movies.
Yeah.
You don't you don't take your kid to go see a rated R movie.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's like, I feel that when people will challenge the fact of like, for example, I used to do this like gaming event, and it was with teens, and so Halo had the M rating. Now I do feel like in some aspects ESRB does drop the ball.
I feel like for Halo, I feel like that's a soft M rating. I think.
Because like it's a hard T at most. I
Yeah.
don't even know how it could be an M rated.
I think it's just for violence and probably swearing.
But there isn't that much. There isn't any swearing in it though. There's I think he says damn, but that's Sarge, the Sarge guy.
I don't know, because it only takes a couple swear words for it to go from teen to.
But then
M.
you look at Uncharted, which is a T-rated game.
I don't
but
think it is.
Yeah, the first 3 Uncharteds are T, and
Are
then
they?
in 4 it was an M rated.
Well, I know also over time their values changed. Like I actually think I had this conversation before with one of my friends about how like, oh, this game was M rated. No, it definitely wouldn't be M rated now or
You
whatever.
mean like Mortal Kombat?
Well, I mean,
No,
like
I'm just kidding.
it's just interesting to see like, well, but see then why was Halo rated at an M rating for so long, and then finally with Halo 5 dropped to a T. Like it's essentially the vice versa version of Uncharted. Like
Right.
because there's times where, like Nate will be ducked down and like a grenade gets chucked over there. He's like shit, and he's running away.
No, I know that
And
voice
so-
line you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's in all the Uncharteds, and they're all T-rated games.
Yeah.
So like I was just wondering, like there's those situations that happen. So I feel like without parents, having those knowledge of what, because one of the big deals with going to like PAX is they really push the ESRB system. So they'll have it like on their website. They'll have like ESRB, and then I think Mike Krahulik actually drew something for them, and they say for the adults to be a part of the gaming thing. If you don't know what your kid is doing,
Yeah.
then you can't go back to Rockstar and say, well, you guys shouldn't put strip clubs in your game. It's like, well, you don't have to do them. Except, I guess in GTA 5, there's a mission.
5,
There is one mission.
you are in the strip club a lot.
Well, there's
for
just-
missions.
There's just one like section that you have to, and then there's one part where Franklin, because I'm going through it again, where Franklin is like just there, but you
Well-
could walk out. But yeah, I
well,
guess there's that.
But
But
yeah, but there are moments where doesn't like Trevor like own it at one point, if I remember right.
yeah, but it's
later
only
in the
for a
game.
cutscene. It's only for a cutscene.
I remember spending a lot of time in there
Oh, okay.
just because.
I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe
just-
that's a different conversation. but still, like, or the fact of where like people criticize GTA with the whole like hot coffee situation where you can have.
Oh, you mean the part that was taken out of the game? And
yeah,
people had to mod
but
back
but
in?
even like now where you
Right.
can like drive up to a corner, honk your horn, and the girl
Right.
gets in the car. That doesn't have to happen. Like
Right, you don't have to.
okay, at worst, the game pushes the strip club to you.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can get like
A hooker?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not pressured into you.
You
Like
gotta get
you
that-
go and do that
you-
yourself.
You got to get that 150 health, man.
I guess. But like I feel like if a parent doesn't know what the game is, then why did you just buy your child that game?
No,
Like-
I warn parents all the time.
Because they asked for it.
Exactly,
And they've been
I
a
guess
good
so.
little child.
And they're out of my hair now.
Yeah.
Or
No, I think that's exactly
They're
it.
out of my hair until they
My
cause
kid-
trouble due to the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's a big issue, at least with my experience because I'm in the electronics area. I'm selling these these games to these kids, and these parents are just like completely oblivious because like I'll scan the game, Like I'll scan, we'll just use GTA because we're talking about. I'll scan it and it'll immediately ask for ID.
Yeah.
Immediately it'll pop up
And
on
you
the
have
system.
to scan ID.
And I have to. Our system, you have to scan the ID. I can't. They don't let us type in the date. So like you can't just give me your date.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents have to hand me their ID, and then they're always like, "Well, I have to give you my ID." I'm like, "Well, it's because it's a mature rating."
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Well, why is it mature rating?" And then I will straight up tell them, "There's sex, there's nudity, there's torture," and they're like, "When this, am I getting my kid this?" I'm like, "Well, apparently you are getting your kid this."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Would you buy this for your kid?" And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't."
Because I was like with the so like for example, going back to what I was trying to say about Halo was I actually brought Halo and Call of Duty to this gaming event for like teens. Now,
Are you talking about the event that I participated in once?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm choosing not to use the name because
I understand.
Yeah. But the so for example, like Halo, it was starting to get looked at bad because it was an M-rated game. But then I'm like, well, the characters don't say anything. It's red versus blue.
Right.
There's no conversation that people
just
have.
violence.
Now, Call of Duty, still there was never really dialogue except in the newer ones. But I guess like old Black Ops, the characters never talk to each other, and so that was where people started to get a little uppity about it. Or zombies. Obviously, the zombie characters will have conversation with each other. They'll say one little bits of dialogue. So to prevent that, I just went into the settings, turned off dialogue, and then had them play it. Now, a lot of people were looking at it as, well, how can you allow these teens to play the game because there's still violence? You're still shooting somebody. And I was like, well, I mean, it's essentially paintball right now. Mm-hmm. So, like, in my mind, I don't see it as bad. So I may have stepped out of the bounds there, but people were, I feel like the person that eventually told and complained about it, and then we actually retract Call of Duty for a while until that person went away, and then we brought Call of Duty back. But like, it was, I feel the only way of getting around figuring out if a game is correct for your kid is you need to play the game, and there's
do your research.
Yeah, or look it up and figure out what it is. The ESRB website actually tells you everything you need to know. Mm-hmm. Like it tells you, why is there nudity in here? And then they'll explain to you, well, there's this part in the game.
This scene and
yeah,
this scene and
which
this
is
part.
pretty like the ESRB website actually works. Now for our European fans and also I guess around the world, because PEGI is your guys' equivalent. I've never gone to a PEGI website. I've just gone to the ESRB one because that's what North America uses.
We use, yeah.
But I feel it's just the same. Like, PEGI's a little more strict because
I have
obviously
noticed that, yeah.
There's games like Left 4 Dead that have been banned. I think Left 4 Dead no, not Left 4 Dead. Dead Island was banned
Dead Island
in Australia.
It's in Australia.
Yeah. And then I think there was some reworked thing, and then even soft banning, which was like South Park: Stick of Truth. There's a scene where there's an alien that anal probes one of the characters, and so that scene is taken out and replaced with a crying koala, I think, or something like that.
Something like a dig on it.
Yeah. And it was a joke as to that situation. But I feel like these ratings are there for a reason, and if you're not going to be the adult of the situation and not look up the game that you're going to buy, this is not the game developer's problem. They're creating content. Like the way I look at video games, the same way I look at music. It's an art style. So if the art is created to be this way, it's kind of the same thing of where I look at a movie. Now, I will say I get a little bit different on movies because, for instance, sex scenes in movies, to me, are a little bit like they shouldn't last more than 2 minutes because I already understand what's going on here. They're obviously having sex. Move on. This has nothing to do with the story now. That's why Game of Thrones, to me, for a long time, I just didn't respect because I was like, this scene's going on too long. This is just softcore porn at this point. It's kind of the same thing with music, but I'm a little bit more lenient on music where if the song was written to be explicit, then that's in my mind how the artist wanted the song to be heard, so I will go and listen to the explicit version of it. So with a video game, the art style is what they created. It's just like the movie.
Mm.
If the sex scene is a cut scene, for instance, like in God of War, where I'm forcibly having to do this, then
A quick time event.
yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this other than the satisfaction of me just getting more red orbs.
Mhm.
Like that's literally all I'm doing right now. That's a little bit like I don't know what's going on here. Like GTA had a scene where Trevor finds out Michael's still alive, and so there's still sound effects outside. So if you hear sound effects, it's because there's work outside, but that's fine.
There's work outside.
But anyway, like when Trevor finds out that Michael's still alive, well, supposedly he's finding out Michael's still alive. He's banging a biker chick, but like you don't see any insertions or anything like that. There's even a mission where Franklin has to go. There's a side mission where Franklin has to go and spy on this celebrity that's having sex.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're taking pictures.
I know
of
what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're taking a video of this situation, and but there's no. You don't see in like it's essentially softcore porn. Like you don't see anything inserted into other things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's visibly humping right now, and so you're kind of like, oh wow, this is something. Like those are a little bit. I feel like the Franklin thing went on a little bit too long, but the Trevor situation was like, this is how this character is. So here's this. He's doing this. He stops, notices Michael's alive, and then just stops doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like that's how the scene moved into it, and then it also continued on to why this scene has something to do with another character, and then which Franklin kills the biker guy from Lost in the Dam.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's those kind of things where I feel like that's how the artist wanted it to be. So there's the story of the artist. If you don't like it, don't play the freaking game. Don't buy the game for your kid.
Yeah.
GTA made billions of dollars and still is making money.
Mm-hmm.
That means the game had to have at least been bought by a couple people under the age of 18.
Well, I've sold it to
A lot of people.
I've sold it to many that shouldn't have it, and the parents they don't care.
Yeah.
I'll tell them, they'll be like, so what is actually wrong with this game? And I'll go through and I will tell, because I have 100% of the game. I know everything that there's to do in the single player. I know all the cutscenes. I know all the events, and I tell them, and that sometimes causes them to not get their kid the game. Other times the parents just don't care.
Yeah.
They just want to get their kid their distraction so that they can do whatever there is that they're doing, and the parent can go and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I just
Same
feel
thing with Call of Duty. Same thing with Call of Duty. Like I always try to tell parents, I was like, there are better games for your kid
yeah, and that's
than this cesspool of toxicity
of M-rated games. And I feel like it's also if you buy games like Call of Duty, it's not even the game's fault.
No.
It's the online community's fault.
That's what I tell people. I tell them, the single player and all that is good. The big negative, in my opinion, with the Call of Duty series is the community and in the lobbies when people are able to just
and then you
with
figure
everybody.
out who's what's that age of demographic that's in that lobby.
Yeah.
Is majority of the time under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
So like I played Call of Duty when I was in middle school. So it's like, I started with World at War, so I don't know. I feel like I've talked more of the situation off, but one thing that played devil's advocate of just saying what my dad said was, why did it need to be in the game in the first place? And it kind of goes back to what my opinion is the game was designed to be this way, and if you don't like it, you don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're allowing your kid to play it, or if I feel also you don't need to shelter your child that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel, you kind of ease them into it. You don't just play E-rated games until you're, out of high school.
Right.
Obviously, your child is going to want to play Call of Duty at some point in time.
Right.
Your child's going to want to play GTA at some point in time because they hear the fun that people have in the game, and that's where it draws those people to those games.
You also got to remember that a lot of kids nowadays watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Watch YouTubers, and those are the big Let's Plays are a lot of those games.
Yeah, but I feel like at the appropriate age, because obviously when you think you have to be you have to be 13 to buy a T-rated game technically.
I mean, it doesn't check.
Yeah,
This-
you don't have to
we
check,
don't
but I mean,
check, but it's like-
you kind of, I think that's the time.
yeah.
But yeah, so 13 to 13 and up buys T-rated games, and then 17 and up buys M-rated games. So I feel like if you eased them into that, you're fine. Obviously, there are going to be games like Uncharted that sneak by the rating system and doesn't get the M rating that it does. Because I feel like playing Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and then going to 4, there's not really a change that happens other than the fact the rating is now M rated.
Yeah, because I feel like, because I've played through them all, and I feel like if Uncharted was a movie, if it got hit with, I feel like it would be fair to give it a PG-13. I also think it would also be fair to give it a rated R. Like, to me, I feel like it could go either way. I feel like it just depends on, but that's just that specific franchise.
Yeah.
I think I feel like Halo would probably go the same way. I think Halo would, if Halo was a movie, it would probably hit. It probably would get a PG-13.
Yeah,
I think it would get a PG-13. I think Uncharted would probably get a PG-13, but if it got an R, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean they don't say the F word, and essentially in movies you can get away with one F word in a PG-13 movie, but then if you go twice, then it goes to an R. Or if you say F this, it's a PG-13 movie, but if you say F you, it's an R rating, I think. Like if you specifically say something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's, how about you, Quinn? You've been kind of just listening to us, but
yeah,
I mean more
Quinn
of me
no
just kind
opinion.
of vomiting out information of just conversations I've had with other people. But like, how do you feel about the ESRB or a parent walking in and buying a GTA game or something like that?
I think the ESRB is fine. It's just a rating system. It's like I don't have any complaints about the ratings for movies. No, like this is rated R, this is PG-13, blah, blah, blah. I mean, some cases might vary because, there's tons of cases where a person could point out, well, why is this rated M, but this is PG-13? Why is this that, blah, blah, blah. And that's in my opinion, that's a completely different discussion. About like I guess the flaws or certain things that get by unnoticed, but I definitely think as a parent you're supposed to be held accountable for how you raise your child, and if you're getting your child these M-rated games and they're not prepared for it, or then you're not doing a good job of being a parent. And
yeah, I feel like that's the whole thing. I think when it comes to kids getting a hold of these games, I think it's just 100% on the parent.
Yeah, and what makes it more irritating is like if you look back, and I people probably still do it, but there was also like a school shooting or something like that was happening, and then they blamed GTA because the two people that were a part of it said like, oh, we did this because of GTA. And it's like, no, you didn't do it because of GTA. GTA didn't tell you go out, shoot actual people. You were not mentally prepared to play said game. And I feel like if you don't ease your kid into something like that, maybe there is this subconscious like disconnect that happens.
Well, I mean, I think that also comes down to what kind of a household they live in.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
how
thing.
they are, like, are they like how they are mentally. I think there's more than just
the game, but
yeah, I was gonna say, because I know I had a feeling this would be brought up at some point about like people getting inspiration for violence in video games, and the people that do that, like that enact actions because of video games supposedly, or people blame things happening because of the child playing video games a lot or whatever, is wrong. It's like, even if video games didn't exist, that person is still messed up in the head, and they would find some other source of inspiration too.
Yeah, because there was that guy in Europe who shot like 20 people and said he trained playing Call of Duty for it.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, he
'Cause
played Call of Duty training for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. They taught him how to do it. Yeah.
All military personnel all have to play the first level of Call of Duty World at War on,
No,
veteran.
all he played was just no Russian over and
exactly,
over and over
exactly.
and over.
Yeah,
they
like,
did the Mile High Club. That's
when
what
I
they-
play
they
Overwatch,
did.
I can rewind time just like Tracer.
Exactly.
I'm like,
You're
wow.
training to rewind
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Because that was one of the things that the person that didn't want Call of Duty at the event was saying, was like, the kids aren't mentally prepared for this. I'm like, I believe you're not mentally prepared for this. If you knew what these kids were already playing
And watching on
yeah,
YouTube.
you have no idea. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying like it's like when you look at Gears of War, and Gears of War was actually I think my brother's first Xbox game he played. And he was young cuz I was in middle school, so he was in elementary school. But it was a game that we could play with each other, so that's why I wanted to play it with him. But I always turned off swearing and I turned off violence. And so violence. So you still saw the dude get
cut
sawed in half, but you
there's
didn't
no
see the blood.
There's no blood everywhere.
Yeah, but I actually respect Epic for putting those settings in their game. I don't know if Gears of War 4 has that. I didn't bother looking. I'm sure it does. But like that's what the Gears of War series has had, and I want more games to have those situations. Mm-hmm. That way games like Call of Duty could become just a paintball game. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's what brings there's a very thin gray line of what is appropriate and what's not for, you know, teens to be playing.
For a minor.
I do not think anyone on the age of 10 should be playing Call of Duty, but you know, when you're getting into the preteens and like teenage area, Call of Duty's not so far out of there, but I think if you had that setting, I would be probably more lenient on saying, yeah, this is different.
See, I don't. For me personally, I don't think Call of Duty, the game, is the issue.
For
me, I think it's like 90% the online community is just toxic and garbage. And if I had a child, I wouldn't want to expose them to that. I wouldn't let them play Call of Duty, and I wouldn't let them play League.
Yeah. Well, League is a little bit different because you just have to read text. You can turn off the chat.
So.
But yeah, it's I don't know. We've kind of talked this one and we kind of wrap it up, but I don't know. I feel like the ESRB and the PEGI system are there for a reason, and if you're not looking at them as they're there for a reason,
as the decision maker,
then
like you are the one that's choosing to get your child this
game.
You should know what you're getting them into.
Exactly. And if you're out there protesting the situation, you can send this to somebody else. I don't really care. That's kind of why I wanted to make the video, was to explain if you know somebody that's already out there going, well, GTA is this, so it's a piece of crap. It's like, well, there is a wall already. There is that wall. It is the ESRB and the PEGI system. That's there. If you're choosing to ignore that and you're going to boycott GTA or Rockstar, Take-Two because they own almost every game, or Blizzard or Activision or anything like that, that's your fault. Like, the game was already rated. It had a fair rating. And if you're not looking it up, again, I just feel like that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No.
I feel like these organizations are set up for a reason. If you're choosing to ignore them, that's your fault.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Anyway, any last words?
I just wish parents would do their research. I'm tired of having to explain to people at work like your kid is like 12. You should not be getting The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, would you? Because
do you read the back of the game that says why it's rated this way?
Like, well, the example I give with like The Witcher specifically is when it was new and people were buying it because people aren't really buying it, anymore. I would tell them, well, would you let your kid watch Game of Thrones? And they're like, no, I wouldn't. Then you shouldn't let them play this game.
Yeah, that's probably.
I don't think that. I think that's the fairest comparison I can give in terms of what they're gonna come across in that game. And it's the same thing with Call of Duty. I'm like, well, they're gonna hear a lot of homophobic, racist garbage online playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That you're not going to hear because they're probably going to have their headphones on.
Yeah.
And that might cause them to participate in that. Because I don't know.
What about you? Any last words?
Be a responsible parent.
Truth.